Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today I'm reviewing Infinity Saga set number 76217, I Am Groot. This has 476 pieces and it retails for $55. It's going to release in the US on August 1st, but I got this early by importing it from the UK. So to start things off, we have two little side builds. One is a hilarious UCS style plaque that just says I Am Groot for everything. I really like this. But there's no consistency to these things because the Benatar, the Guardians ship set, didn't have one last summer, and it really should have, and yet the Iron Man and Groot sets this summer do have them. So that does kind of irritate me because one of my biggest complaints with the Benatar was that it needed a UCS plaque. So if LEGO can include a joke one in this set, they should have had a real one in that set. And then we also have this awesome mixtape. I think that this is awesome. I mean, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Pun unintended. But this is just a really cool little side build. And so this side is the second volume. And so it looks a little bit different, but then you can flip it over and you have the first volume. I think that that is really, really cool because it's just nice to be able to switch between them. And you can see like even the writing, like it's even written a little bit differently. It's not like LEGO cheaped out by just like copying and pasting like the exact same writing. So I just think that this is a really neat little side build. Groot himself is pretty tall, actually. I haven't measured it, but, I mean, if I check the back of the box, he is 10.2 inches tall. So that's about what I expected. 10 inches tall is the same size as, like, that Ultron Edition Hulkbuster from a few years ago, by the way. So it's pretty decently sized. I don't have a minifigure on hand, but a minifigure would come up probably to, like, there. So this is basically life-size, and it's LEGO's first foray into these kind of life-size creatures for Marvel. Because Star Wars has done large-scale, not quite life-size, but large-scale sculptures. And so, like, with the child figure, Grogu, Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian, they got pretty life-size with that. And so Groot is kind of just in that same style. And it's really interesting to see a Marvel set done in this way, because that Iron Man set that released in January 2022, it was nowhere near life-size. And I really like these things, but they do have a tendency to look a little bit creepy. So we'll start from the bottom. Groot's legs are pretty, like, they look pretty good. I like the way that these things are built up. But as you can already see, I guess we're going to get to weaknesses first. They cannot support the weight of the figure at all. This thing is so badly built, it's honestly baffling to me. I didn't mean to say so many B's in a row, but yeah, that's just ridiculous. The second you want to touch this thing, like, the head is so heavy that it wants to just fall over and or break. I've been breaking a lot of things in my videos recently. So ignore the breakage because we're talking about the legs first. These things are so small and they're so restricted in their movement that they just don't support the weight of the body at all. It's honestly, like, it's terrible. Like, this thing, whenever I touch it, it's always wanting to just fall over. And a big part of that is just because of the way it's built. Like, you see these restrictive, like just these Technic bits at the ends, they're preventing like the hips from getting any wider, so you can't get more support with those pieces still on. Like, this is as far as you can splay the legs out. That's not good for something this heavy. Again, like, I'm not trying to make it fall over. It's just that bad. So if you just take these pieces off, and if you were to just like get like those Technic ball pieces like a little bit further out, it might not look as good, but it's immediately going to help you in supporting the weight of this thing because you can actually like splay the legs a little more. So yeah, if you thought you can make Baby Groot dance, think again. You cannot. You cannot put it in the pose it shows on the front of the box without this thing just absolutely collapsing. So that's very disappointing to me. Like you need to keep the legs like ramrod straight. The second you try bending the knees, like, this thing is going to go down. But I really like the way they're designed. So there are stickers in this set, which I think that all of these should have been prints given how expensive it is. But I like all of like the foliage detail. I like the dark tan color mixed in with the olive green. I like the use of these like rocky pieces. And I really love the whips being used as vines. I think that that's a really good parts usage. And the legs are pretty detailed around both sides. You know, like, there's not like as many stuff sticking out here. but it still looks pretty good. And you do have stuff sticking out up once you get into the thighs. So I do like that. Like you have a twig coming out of here, you have a little leaf coming out of here, and everything's finished off very nicely. Like you don't see anti-studs or anything, except for all the way down here. And I like that. I think that that is a good touch. But again, if the legs are straight, you're going to have a much better time. As soon as you bend it, down the thing comes. Going up into Groot's body, again, the stickers look great, but I just wish I didn't actually have to apply them. And I actually kind of wish that there was some more detail here. Like this whole area just seems kind of plain to me, and I would like to see some more prints and stuff in there. The arms are pretty well designed too. We have another vine, we have more stickers, and we have the good style of hand. I far prefer it when LEGO does these kinds of hands as opposed to like anything else, because the Exoforce arms can just grip objects in a much better way than anything else. And I actually don't think I've seen these pieces in dark tan before, which is kind of cool. The joints are still gray, that's fine. Those are color locked, and I don't think they stand out too much. Like the ones on the feet here stand out more than anything else because there is pretty good dark tan coverage for the arms. And both arms are pretty much the same. There's just minor differences with the plants and the vines. And then Groot has a twig growing out of this thumb, which I think is a nice detail. You do have waist articulation, which is nice, but I think it's kind of unnecessary. And I feel like it just adds to the figure's like stability issues. So that's not great. And then around the back, you do have some more stickers, which it's welcome for the detail it provides, but I've seen better things around the back here. I don't think this looks that great from the back, and honestly, I don't think LEGO should have put those stickers here, because if you're going to put detail on the back, I expect it to look like better than this. Like the head looks pretty good from the back, but I mean, I guess we can go ahead and move to that now. Honestly, though, it's so hard to look at the head given how weak the body is. Like, it's always just flopping around like that. So we'll just go ahead and decapitate him, which, hey, gives you a little bit of a better look at the neck area. And it's fine. He'll grow back. But the head, it looks pretty good. I actually really liked building this. I like the shaping that LEGO did here. Sorry if you can see you can see my light reflecting in the eye a little bit. And you do have like kind of natural like reflections in the eye, which I like. The eyes are basically done in the same way as Baby Yoda, except they're on minifigure shield pieces. And they look demonic. They look super demonic. Like, they do not work well. Like, this does not look cute. This just looks creepy. It's less bad in person, I think, but it's still pretty bad. I really like the eyebrows. Using those wheel arch pieces was a great idea, but you can see that the eyes don't even fit into the eyebrows. They're actually offset, and that also just makes them look even weirder to me. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. And then the face is just a little bit flat. They did that Mickey Mouse technique where they use a wheel arch to represent the mouth, and that works pretty well. I don't think the mouth looks bad, but this whole region of the face is just like a big no from me. Also a little bit of a weird build. You can see like things don't line up perfectly, but I like the stickers here. I think the stickers are at their best here, and I really like the way that they kind of go into the leaves. And there's really good coverage around the entire head. It looks very bark-like. It looks pretty rugged. It's a little bit smooth around the back, but I still like how much it's covered up. Although, I mean, even more like stickers and stuff. I mean, I don't want more stickers, but more detail back here. That's the word I'm looking for. Would look pretty nice. And actually, I don't know if I might have built this the wrong way when I was fixing it. Okay, well, I ended up breaking the head again, so it is a little bit fragile. It's not too bad, though. I think I just have butterfingers today, but I didn't build it the wrong way. That is correct. And then up top, there's some nice detail in here, too. Again, it's pretty rugged, and I definitely appreciate that look for Groot. And I mean, we can try posing this thing, but it is so ridiculously weak that it breaks so much. This is just such a disappointing amount of articulation, because actually there's a good amount of articulation, but it's just the way it all works is so bad. So let's try putting him in like a little bit of a dancing pose like you see on the front of the box, and you think like, oh, maybe I could get him to balance on one leg, and you absolutely cannot. Like, I don't want to let him fall because I don't want him to break, but maybe if we do like a kicking up pose, and nope, I'm just gonna leave that broken off. You can like move his arms around. Look, there's more twigs and stuff breaking. Oh, we almost got it there. And then his head makes him come crashing down. And again, like, you can just see how much his head, like, it's so loose Like, this thing is genuinely terrible in terms of articulation because everything is just such a loose connection that it can't stand up. I mean, like, look at what's going to happen to this thing if you try to pose it for literally, this has been 1 minute of posing, and look at this thing. Like, it's just so bad. And what's even worse is that this would all be solved if LEGO just put friction adder pieces at all of these joints, especially the leg ones. I really don't know why they didn't do that. And the head one, because the head is just like the worst build I've ever seen on one of these LEGO sculptures because it's so heavy. It's a good build. It looks good, but its execution is just so terrible that it's honestly just very, very sad to me that you can't properly pose this figure in any way. The extra parts here are actually pretty interesting because you get 2 whips and you get an extra clip piece. Like, I checked my instructions. I did not miss putting one of those in, but it's an extra for some reason. And this is how many stickers are in this set. This is just insane. The Awesome Mix has these 6 up here as well as these 2. So that's 8 stickers for something of this size. That is crazy to me. And then all of the rest are for Groot except the big one, which is the plaque. Here's the box for this set. It's basically a $30 box size turned vertically rather than horizontal. I do like the art because it's like the scene from the start of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when he's just dancing to the music. But this is absolutely false advertising in like a blatantly obvious way. I think it's shameful that LEGO shows this figure in this position because you cannot put it in this kind of position no matter how hard you try and get it to stay. Like, let's see. So it's got like 1 foot like kind of up. Yeah, so that's a complete miss for me. I do not think LEGO should have pretended like it could stand like that. And then around the back, you have a more accurate dancing pose. I think it could probably handle that a little bit better. And then it just shows you the measurements. This is the first set I'm reviewing with this new style of LEGO instruction manual for summer 2022. These things are the ugliest thing I've ever seen. They look so bad and they look so horrendously cheap. It makes the unboxing experience so much worse, in my opinion. I know a lot of people won't care about the cover of instruction manuals, but I far prefer it when they're the box art because this is literally just a cheap render. Like, this doesn't even look like a good CGI render. Like, it just looks really cheap. And it's not even like the box image or anything. I just think these are terrible. All of these look so bad to me. So it's really annoying in my opinion. I don't know why LEGO chose to, I think they said they wanted to like make things more consistent, but I'm like, can you make them consistently good and not consistently ugly? Because that's a major miss in my opinion. And then we don't really have anything interesting in this manual either. We just have an ad for the Infinity Saga sets for 2022 at the back. Honestly, I find this set to be an absolute joke because of how bad like the weight problem is. While building it, I was pleasantly surprised. When it was done, I was pleasantly surprised. I think that this looks a lot better than it does in pictures in person. The eyes are still freaky. The face could use, like, there could be a little bit more detail in a couple of places. But it's not it doesn't have a bad appearance by any means. The problem is the posing, because even if you're not playing with this, even if you're like me and you just want to put it on a shelf somewhere, I don't want it to just be standing with its arms at its sides. And that's all you can do with this because its legs can't move. And the second you bend its knees, it's just going to fall over and break everywhere. Like, the amount of times that it broke while filming this review is just sad. Because yes, I don't expect like collector's items like this to be super like stable. But like if the build is going to be falling over, then pieces shouldn't be shattering all over my table like every 30 seconds. Like, the fact that the head is like partially fragile is fine. It's just the fact that it keeps falling over and those things break. That's the issue. Like, it's just a basic physics problem. Like, did the LEGO designer not understand physics when they were building this? Like, did they not understand that having a head this big would absolutely like just mess up like all of the proportions of this thing? I think that it's just a really badly executed build in my opinion. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my thoughts. For $55, do not buy this. $55 is a stupid price point, and it is way too high for this. This would be a good $40 set. This would be not a bad $50 set, but for $55, and honestly for $50, everything on there should have been printed. Everything on there should have been printed. this is ridiculous. For a $55 set, this is just a total joke. So yeah, spend your money elsewhere, and hopefully, well, I mean, we don't really need anyone to come out with a mod for this thing. We really just need to add friction adder pieces to all of the joints, and I don't know why LEGO didn't do that in the first place. So that's it for today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com, and I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.